So to get slightly more into the game, we investigated the chapel of the sanctum, the inner sanctum of the chapel. It turned out that the inner sanctum had definitely already been violated by Bolt and Brad Langford and the Bolt lackeys. You guys successfully dispatched several of the Bolts, having traveled through a portal that led you into the middle of the desert where Martha was. Martha had been attacked and is unconscious after you rescued her, along with one of the Bolts, who is also unconscious and pretty beaten up right now. I believe there was some dick twisting and kicking. You have brought back the body of Lecree, an old adventurer from the woodland region of Brynwall. We are currently on the outskirts of Hanker. You guys assaulted the chapel or started a potentially revolution within the chapel early in the morning, and as the dawn starts to fully rise on the desert, the heat begins to rise off the sand. Mirages around you become confusing compared to the portal in front of you. You are unsure whether the portal truly leads back to the potential safety of the chapel sanctum, but either way, you have the body of Lecree, an unconscious Martha, an unconscious Bolt, and as you assess your wounds and see how you have fared in what was a fairly glorious kebabbing of the Bolts, you realize that Jorg has slipped unconscious himself while holding Bolt. We'll take it from there.
I'm gonna check on Joe to see if it's like because he just slipped unconscious. I'm just trying to make sure that like he's not like bleeding out because we were just in a battle.
And
Quick
I'm going to
check.
help him with that.
Okay, if you could do a medicine roll then. Well,
Who's going to go me to do it? 'Cause I got a +5.
Yes, you're gonna be
then
much better than me. Yeah.
So I'm going to
okay,
do that, but also advantageously,
that should
right?
be correct. Yes.
What? Oh, okay, that didn't work. So I'm just going to do it twice. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. So you assess Jorg's wounds. Although he did take a bit of a beating, he's actually not too physically wounded, and you don't sense any kind of lingering magical damage. But on that roll for the 18, I would say that you become aware that whatever whatever's causing his like state of lack of conscious appears to be more magical in nature than it is physical. But he seems healthy. He's breathing. He's not breathing or anything.
Okay.
Right. Um, I guess I'm going to start carrying him, and I'm going to take his glaive and hand it to the Walden.
Okay, yeah, I can keep a hold of that for
I
now.
can't do anything with that. I got a stick.
Right. Uh, I'll pick up the bolts. Well, actually, Seto can pick up the bolt because I think Seto would prefer to pick up that rather than Martha. So I'll pick up Martha.
Well, Zeto's got what's his body, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Seto has been with whatchamacallit's body this whole time. The
Cree.
Lecree, yeah.
Okay, so
And bolts also like skewered to other bolts.
Also true. But now that you've removed the glaive, not so much.
Oh, I forgot about that. Was that bolt dead, or were we trying to
he was
interrogate
unconscious.
that
So I
bolt?
wanted to get some information from him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like so is there a way to tie him up? Like can you just like entangle him entirely, like his body? Is that a thing?
Um,
I guess that was more to the DM than you. Like
So I think it's reasonable. I know you guys have had rope in your inventory before. I don't think we normally travel without it. So I think it's reasonable to assume that you have rope to tie him up. He's unconscious. It's not like he's struggling. Lucrid and Gruta would also like help you probably either carry.
Oh, they went with through the portal. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
They went
So
back through the portal?
no, they're with you now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Again, my screen seems to be showing differently. But Lucrid and Gruta are both there. They can carry Bolt if that's the leading cause of carrying capacity. Or they can probably carry Martha or Lacree either. But
I guess figure out what we're doing first, because we still got to talk to Marta, see what the hell's going on, where we at with our lives.
yeah. So as what I'll say is, as you guys kind of realize how many bodies there are unconscious or dead to kind of bury or remove from this site, like whether that be like the Bolt bodies to cover them up so they can't be found, or kind of dog sledding in a way, Jorg, because he's quite big. You kind of start fashioning out of like the clothes that the deadbolts were wearing and a couple of their weapons, a kind of way to strap these people onto you because you're intending on going through back to Hanka. So if you guys could give me a
I will say one
Yeah.
specific thing. We do want to carry the rest back to Hanka. I don't want to bring Bolt into Hanka.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I'm
good
also
for me
not
to know.
ready to go back to Hanka yet.
Okay. In that case, what we'll say is, could you give me a survival roll, somebody?
I can do that. I think I have
kind of-
advantage because of my ranger shit.
Sweet. Yeah. Works.
Let me double
How's
check
that?
Oh, yeah. You desert
Advantage
dweller.
on survival checks to track your favorite enemies, as well as in checks to recall information about them. Natural Explorer. Proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills you make when you make an intelligence or wisdom check related to it. While traveling for an hour in your chosen terrain, difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel. It can't become lost except by magical means. Then alert to danger. Move stealthily at a normal pace. You find twice as much food while foraging.
Well, then I rolled a 26.
That's okay. If you could still roll for me, there's quite a lot of things to do for prepping these people to move. So we'll have two people roll.
The survival roll is 0.
Hey,
I don't get advantage on survival checks except to track enemies, which we're not doing right now.
I'm surprised you don't get one because you're in the desert.
I get other benefits while I'm in the desert, but not survival advantage on survival checks while in the desert. I get a lot of other shit though.
Okay. So from those rolls, Steve is doing pretty well. Maybe it's because like they've got a bit of like healing knowledge. They seem to know how to strap somebody up to prepare to move them. He prioritizes Martha and Jorg to try and make sure that they're kind of like safely held. You and Walden work to kind of conceal Bolt underneath the body of Lacree, so that when you go into Hanka, he won't be as visible. So like they can't see from the outskirts what you're bringing in as easily. But you do kind of a semi-shoddy job of attaching Bolt. You're kind of more sensitive about Lacree. He's somebody that you met when he was alive, and you want to make sure he has some dignity. But Bolt certainly doesn't, sandwiched underneath him. And yeah, you guys kind of regroup with these people who are either dead or unconscious, and start to kind of finally look each other all in the eye after quite a severe emotional battle, both with the clerics in the church and with these kind of bolts that you skewered, and you look each other up and down, and you start to notice that amongst the blood, you see Seto has almost lost some of those defining features that you see around his face and hands. He seems like his whole skin tone has lost the color, like all of that vibrant natural energy has turned gray, and it's almost like the leaves and small hints of nature that appeared around him have disappeared or maybe withdrawn and become dormant. As you notice that Seto has an incredibly different tone and attitude. He's doing things logically. He's barely questioning anything. He's not cracking jokes. And you see that kind of classic appearance that Winter would normally have with the dark tips of fingers be more like a grey, deep grey, but that then goes into a blue, icy toned skin. And he looks very different to even his winter form.
Seto,
Like, I give Seto some eyes, like, good, but like without saying good.
It's like a cold, passive stare. Like you can make eye contact, but his pupils don't move. Like he's looking where he's looking, and he's kind of like lost in that, but still aware of his surroundings. Because like he understands the situation, but like he's really trying to cope.
Seto, is there something you need to tell us?
And just shakes his head and like nods towards either the port, like he nods towards the portal, and you know, because he's grieving and is kind of like able to put some stuff aside, but like he's not a strong man. He's
Okay.
so carrying a whole like dead weight human body is it's not easy for him, but like you can tell he's determined to do it.
All right. I'll leave that alone for now. I do want. Okay, so we're gonna be heading back in the direction of Hong Kong, but I do want to like find a kind of hidden spot, not like super hidden, but maybe like because there's like ruins around. We've seen them, right?
Mhm.
I want to find like some ruins that like people aren't at, and just really quick interrogate bolts, and then we can kind of decide what to do with him then, and then we can go to Honka.
It's at that point when you mention like the bolts and interrogating him and finding like a ruin specifically to kind of make it a bit less conspicuous of what you're doing. Lucrid pops up and also in a fairly solemn way says, well, I wouldn't normally get involved in such matters, but I know the place well enough to know where Crick Crack and Yen may be, and there should be some spots out there that they'd have taken refuge from the earthquake. Maybe if we regroup with them, we can see that Martha and Jorg are looked after while we chase these leads with this Bolt fellow. I can't say this is a situation I saw happening when I planned this out.
I don't think any of us could have seen this coming. There's been a lot of forces at work that we don't know. Still don't fully know what we're up against, though we're starting to get a better examination of it. Hopefully, Bolt here will be able to fill in some of the missing pieces.
Well, I sure do hope so myself, Wally. You guys have been nothing but good to me, and I promise I will return the favor in a large way as soon as I can.
I appreciate that.
For now, I think we should probably avoid the temple, so I'm not sure about the portal. Maybe we should close it, but going up through that massacre may not look good for us, and our cover is dangling by a thread as it is. Gruta used to have the trust of the council in Hamka here, and I doubt that will stand, but if we could not get done for treason anytime soon, I'll always appreciate that.
We'll figure it out either way. I'll
I'm
make
sure
sure
we
that you
will.
two aren't caught in the crossfire.
Well, I feel like the whole city has been caught in a crossfire for a while. That's kind of what we were trying to fight. Anyway, anyone got any ideas about closing this portal?
Can you?
I feel
Can we still see through the portal?
Oh yeah. It's fully open. The bolts weren't just to remind you, because I said it last time. The bolts didn't create the magic for the portal. That was the ritual from the clerics. So they don't have control over opening and closing it. They only were able to block it.
And
But-
you said last time that
bolt
this...
was able to reopen it. I'm confused.
No, it's
So-
been open this whole time. It just hasn't closed.
So I'm saying it was like closing, and then Bolt was able to reopen it.
No, okay, so it had a mirror-like surface and was blocked, and that was Bolt. And then you tortured him and encouraged him to open it, and he opened it. And you went through to get Martha.
Gotcha.
Gentle
Yeah.
encouragement.
Where is the portal? Like, is it above us? Is it like?
I think it's on the map. So it's like next to you.
Don't see it on the
Don't
map?
see it on the map either. Yeah.
See, this is why I was worried. Okay.
Was it like, it's on the like level with the horizon, or is it like above us?
Hold on. Let me reset the thing, and maybe that will help. Wow. Boop. Boop. Does that show differently?
No.
No.
But
Okay.
like, if I think of like if one thing was on top of the other thing, I would kind of know where it is.
I was thinking. I thought because we came out around this area. Oh no, it's over there.
That do
Oh,
it?
there,
Okay.
above.
There we go. Okay. I did it.
Yeah, nice.
Turned out I put the map on the GM layer, and that's why you were all fuzzy. Great.
So, just following up with that, just because I can't tell because this is a 2D image.
Mhm.
Like, what's like the orientation of that portal? Like, did we fall out of the sky and land? Like,
Oh,
under
okay.
that?
I see what you mean. No, it would be more like a CD-ROM on its side.
Okay.
So you know, like a coin spinning, like it's on its like it has a face that faces you. It's more like that. And I would
So
say
it has a zenith.
it has a Z-axis, but not a Y-axis.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I got you.
Nice.
Okay. What if we just throw one of the bolts back in there? Is it's an open portal. Like, if we put throw the dead bolts back in there, they could be blamed for the incident.
Yeah. It's
That
plausible.
Could
may
be
be
blamed,
helpful.
but that still leaves it open. I don't like. Do we like? The question is, do we bother like trying to close it right now?
How could we? I mean, I suppose.
Well, I would say
let
we
me
should
do an
try, but
Arcana
maybe
check
let's
real quick.
need some evidence.
The
Suppose-
evidence is probably a good idea. Yeah.
I suppose what I'm getting at is to be aware in your minds that if the portal's left open, it's left open, and not be like, but it would just da-da-da. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, let me look at and try to study this portal to see if I can understand anything about said portal with my brain.
Yeah, fair. Seto, from your Arcana, I would say you understand that this is similar to some spells, but it seems way more permanent. However, if you do wish to investigate it, Give me. I would say, give me a wisdom check.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I get a +1. I'll take that.
Okay.
I'll take that.
You bitch. Are you? Oh God.
I'll take that.
So just sitting there, just like.
I'm occupied. I'm grieving. Okay, leave me alone.
No,
As
no,
music
it's
kinda
cool, it's
walks
cool.
out.
Dead friend pass.
In that case, do a charisma save. And Steve, give me an arcana check, not wisdom, for this was a separate thing.
Oh, okay. There are too many windows on one screen.
Understand.
What am I doing? Arcana, you said?
Yeah, arcana for you and charisma save for Seto.
Oh, I'll take that.
I don't know shit.
Yep.
I'm otherwise occupied.
Okay. Seto,
Thank you for trying.
you feel as almost like the void between seasons, the energy of the moon, lingers within your fingertips and spreads further up your hands. Steve, you think this is a portal.
Nice, Steve.
We may not have the strength or specific knowledge to be able to close it right now. If we want to, we may come back and close it later. But it doesn't seem like it's having a negative effect outside of its existence. Like, it was just used as an escape route. It's not like this portal's gonna, like, have larger problems next to it.
Unless
So-
it's used to like move a force in.
Yeah, that's
Because
like a.
this is right in the heart of town. If groups of enemies came through this portal, like we just did, the city would be fucked right now with
Yeah, that's
the
not a good
earthquake. There's
Well,
no telling.
the question is, like, what forces? You know what I mean? Like, it seems like the people working against the city have already been in the city. Like, are there armies out there that would seize upon this opportunity?
I'm gonna say, because I rolled so low, as I'm looking and trying to investigate this portal, I walk through it.
Oh shit!
Um.
I say he did.
Well, give me 1 second.
Oh god. Oh
Oh
god.
boy.
How about he goes fingers first? So maybe he just loses a couple of like a hand or two.
Constitution save for Steve.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Don't get bisected, bro. You got that.
Yeah, so you take
Ugh.
1 point of psychic like reverberation as you enter this kind of like almost shoddy portal again, and you start to feel like now you've gone through it, even though your arcana roll wasn't very good, you've now experienced something, right? And you kind of staved off a little bit of its resonance. Roll me another arcana.
I wish Arcana was tied to our actual fucking casting stat.
That would be nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so Steve, you get the feeling, and you are in the church right now, like back in that basement. You notice that room is starting to almost like it's fading. The connection between that nightmarish room is starting to fade. But you also notice there's nothing on that side that's powering it now. And you suspect that the bolt you've left alive and unconscious, that was actually the bolt that you bullied into reopening the portal.
Okay. I'm gonna do a quick search of this crazy room and then go through the portal again.
Give me a perception check.
And I want to specifically look at those statues that were in the back of the room if I could see it.
Alright, get it.
Too many. So, perception check.
Oh, baby.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, what you would definitely notice is from that perception check, it's kind of like that nightmarish realm is starting to fade. The statues are becoming less visible because they were in that kind of nightmarish twisted realm.
Mhm.
Um, but you also seem to notice that from this side, now you're having a really good look. It's kind of like there are cracks on this side of the portal that definitely weren't there on the other side.
Hmm.
All right. I'm gonna go through that portal as quick as I can.
Constitution save.
You got this.
Oh shit!
Balls.
Um, you take 6 points of psychic damage as once again you pass through this, I reiterate, shoddily made portal. And as another person comes through, while this thing is like unstable and nobody is kind of like actively trying to keep it open, it just is. You start to see cracks appear from this side, but you now see as you come through the other side, the unconscious Bolt, there's like a hand flopping out of the sled under Lucree, and you can see a stone in a ring on his hand that seems to now also have cracked. You kind of hear like a crick that draws your attention over there, and you do all notice that.
What the fuck?
Oh, he's got the ring that was holding the portal on or off, and without him changing it, the ring
do I
stayed
hear
the
that
way.
as well?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
you all
I'm
do.
a-
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm
I just
gonna look at
explained
that
what I
shit.
think that it is. Like,
yeah, you're probably right.
so maybe we just need to take this ring off and try to do that.
I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna look for at / the ring. Look at about the. I'm not taking it yet, but I'm looking at about figuring out what is ring.
Investigation.
There we go.
Sexy.
Nice. So you start like really looking at the details. You've seen both sides of this portal, right? So you're looking at the details now, trying to be like, what connects these two things together? You realize the ring is the same color as that purplish hued side on the other side, but also all of the cracks you're seeing are the same places on this oval shaped gem as they are in the portal. And you suspect that the gem's power is actually what's been energized and is keeping it open.
I'm gonna take a handful of sand and drop it over the ring. See what happens.
Nothing.
I'm gonna take the ring off with your finger.
Yeah.
Go over to said rock. Give it a good smoosh.
Strength. Strength.
Don't put it
Strength.
as.
Yeah, with a 15, you are able to crack a large crack into the very center of the round gem on this ring. And as you do so, the portal cracks, destabilizes, and disappears.
Nice.
Cool.
And now we go to Hanka.
I summarized what I saw on the other side of the portal and tell the rest of the group.
Okay, so it seems like that scenario will fade on its own, so we simply need to move onward.
Hi, back to Hanka.
Sorry. The ring. So it's just like a regular ring with a cracked gemstone on it, right? Now,
Currently, yes.
can I tell like what kind of gemstone it was, or what the rest of the ring is like made out of? If there were any like, I want to know more about this ring and how it was able to do what it did.
I think you're following Lucred and Gruta to where they think Crit Crack and Yen would go. I think you would probably it's probably going to take like half an hour to orientate yourselves properly, get there, work it out. I think it's plausible that you would be able to ascertain that it was enchanted but not innately precious. So it's not like a diamond ring or anything like that. It seems like it's just a standard opal that was infused.
Gotcha.
But I don't think without casting a specific spell or doing something like that, you would be able to exactly identify it or the magic used.
Gotcha.
But I think
Well,
on the way you would be able to like look at it and look at it in the sun and see how it refracts and be like, oh, this is now just like a broken rock ring.
Gotcha. Question to the group: what are we doing with these other 3 bolt bodies that be dead? Are we trying to dispose? Not dispose, but are we bringing these?
I would like to bury the Kree. I don't know exactly where it would be respectful to bury the Kree, but
Lecrae wants a cremation.
Okay.
So
So I'm gonna suggest.
Lecrae?
He just kind of nods his head softly. Lecrae wants a cremation. Not to be dug up.
Okay. I'm going to kind of like look at Seto, look at Lecrae, and then walk over here and start building a funeral pyre.
Okay. So what I'll say is it probably takes you about half an hour to build. There are some sticks and little bits around this area. It's not impossible.
If I gotta take down a tree or something, I'll do what I gotta do.
Yeah, I think there's enough dry wood in this area that you can probably work it out. Roll me a survival, however, and anyone that would help do this also roll a survival. Okay.
No.
Goof. You have advantage on stuff like that, right? Or no, not yet.
No, not on survival checks specifically.
That's great. So
Unless I'm tracking an enemy, which I'm definitely not right now.
Fair.
So, Steve, you would notice that this area is like a dried up oasis, like a dry riverbed, and the reason there are kind of like dried trees and logs available that are very old but very good for burning is that this area used to be an oasis, and I think you would probably tell that to Warden because they're kind of like doing this with you and helping out. And Warden, one of the things that you remember is that there was definitely a more oasis-like structure to Hanker when you were around. Like, a lot of the settlements around it were based around pockets of oases, and like, although you remember Hanker being like a valley, you remember the base of the oasis being quite large, and there being like more like canal systems rather than it being like almost slums that are segregated around these old churches. I think you would probably piece together that there's less water here than there used to be. Like, it doesn't look massively different until you notice what's missing, if that makes sense. You don't notice things that are missing as easily as you notice things that are added. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think now you're in this kind of like dried oasis area. You're like, oh wait, actually,
Would I have any reason
This
to
is where I
think
used to
that
wash my
is-
balls.
Wow.
Oh shit!
Do I have any reason to do I have any reason to think that this drop in water is like unnatural, like that this wouldn't have happened just over the course of time?
I don't think you would see any signs that would point either way. You just notice that something's changed that hasn't been answered or brought up yet.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yeah, you guys spend a little time making this pyre. You make it like elevated, you get some rocks to create like an area for some ash to fall and it not like crumple completely in on itself messily. Like you spend your time finding wood that will burn and creating like a moat of sand to kind of create a place. And I think Lucrid would say some like last rites and some condolences and kind of pat you guys on the back and appreciate your work to like revere the dead.
While they're doing that, Seto gets out a clay flask of oil that I do have in my inventory and uses it like to kind of like just prepare Lucre's body, like in the hair and like down on the face, like cleaning and stuff like that, so that all, but also so that it helps like burn and stuff. Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
so you do.
Sorry, I just learned that people take an additional 5 damage when I with this. If they're like covered in it and I use like firebolt, they take an additional 5 damage.
Oh
That's
yeah,
not-
it's like grease.
That's fucking awesome. All right.
Yeah, grease is the most overpowered item in the commons.
Let's do it.
So the Cree's gonna take an additional 5 damage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
Lucre's body is about to like chip fire. So yeah, I think you probably also like Steve probably has some herbs that he kind of like puts in the oil to kind of like myrrh and frankincense, you know what I mean? Like these kind of like herbs related to death. And
I would also feel like at this point I would check my lavendafter to see what it looks like.
oh yeah, you can do that.
I don't know what that.
It's
Would that look-
alive. It wasn't before.
Okay.
And,
Would that be used at all in this?
Probably not. It's quite a rare herb. You normally would only really see it like growing in the utmost parts, like the highest parts of the tree stump lagoon in the Archdruid Grove.
Gotcha.
the
What would that normally be used for? Just for my player knowledge.
You probably wouldn't know because it's not it's a taboo for what it's used for. So you
Okay.
guys know that there's a link to lichdom, so it may have a link to either soul preservation or something to do with like a smell a soul can smell. But that's you wouldn't have any idea of what it's actually used for or how it's used.
Okay.
I wanted to not forget, but yeah, Seto takes 2 silver, which I've already subtracted, and puts 1 over each eye, and takes out one of his daggers and like puts it in his hands, like, you know, like rests it with him. And Lucre had a bow, right, or something like that? That was theirs.
Yeah, I believe he did. Yeah, I believe he has a longbow and a short dagger, like attacker.
Yeah. Then yeah,
Kind
we'll
of like
put
a
the
range.
Yeah, the longbow and dagger, his weapons with him in the fire, so that he has them in the next life.
Mhm.
Kind of deal. And yeah. So it just kind of stands still in a way that kind of reminds you of a forest in winter where nothing's moving and it's just why in a real surreal like way.
Do you guys like the pyre?
Oh yeah, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah.
I got.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about that.
But, instead of using his gun for like the first time ever, you see him create the fireball in his hand, firebolt, not the ball. You know what I mean? But in his hand and throws it into the. Well, I guess now that he's high enough level, throws them into the two fireballs into the fire and.
Yeah, as you do so, do another wisdom save. This time a save. And Steve, as the smoke from the pyre rises in the air, and you've just checked on the lavender, you notice the very first like bud of its flower. Now it's like when you first put it in, it was like crushed ashes of the lavender. It wasn't like a whole plant, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was like just like
Yeah.
burnt remains.
As the smoke rises, it's almost like you see, and all of you would see this, some of that smoke is attracted to the lavender, and the very first bud blooms. And nothing else happens. But Steve, you would notice the bud.
I have
think
a
everyone
bag
would
of
notice
it
the smoke.
too, right? I have the bag of the lavender, the same as him, but I don't
Steve's
have
is
the fancy
in his
thing.
bottle. Yeah,
Yeah,
Steve's is
but
in
mine's
his bottle.
dead, so it doesn't respond, right? Just making
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Just to confirm.
Magic shit is magic shit.
Pretty much. Seto, you feel a little bit like the last few hours have been insane, and you barely know how to communicate emotionally right now. You've started feeling an emotion that you can't give a name. And as you start to come to terms with that concept, and the concept that you cannot give this thing a name comes to you.
Ennui. Sorry.
And that moment passes quickly, and that name, it's not like your inner mind tells you it. It's like your body emotionally feels that name, and that name is logged in this experience.
Oh, and what?
That's a message.
I my phone just went off, so I was like, oh, all right, it's got to. Nope, not. Is it in here? Nope, I don't see it anywhere. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. I thought it was, okay. Oh, alright. So I have to choose the enunciation because I like it being Julio. Because that's what I first thought it said.
Fair.
Oh, fuck. I mean, nuh-uh.
What? What are you talking about?
It's alright. It's fine. It's
I'm sorry, today's not my best day, but
it's okay. It's okay. We're all just a bit fey. Right. And yeah, you guys watch this pyre burn, and it smells awful. I don't think you guys have really spent that long around bodies before this adventure.
I literally
on this
carry around
adventure-
corpse liquor.
You do, but on this adventure, it's where it started. I wouldn't say that's where it always was. You have just put your hand up by putting your knife. Oh no! Wait, no. Actually, that's creepy, would it?
Oh, that is creepy.
I did. Wait a second. Did that?
Is that AI?
That's a hand.
What?
Somebody put a hand on the hand.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh! I can see a little timer. Oh. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry. We got scared by Zoom technologies because we're
Wait, hold
fucking
up.
Luddites, apparently.
I don't have one. Either gotta be this one.
I don't
You
know.
know, because like.
M. Polio.
Hold on.
Whatever.
I'm not a cook.
Ah!
So, or maybe it's because you're the Zoom leader. Anyway, we'll move on.
Whatever.
So yeah, you guys will start to kind of process you've been around death far more in these last few like weeks maybe than you have in the majority of the years before. Whether literal or conscious. And I think you'd probably have some time to reflect on that. Where you start to think like, how are people able to enact death on others in a lustful way? How are people able to bring cruelty into the world? As you see this kind of like experience of now losing someone you'd met and cared about compared to the enemy. And I think maybe it would give you a different perspective on the bolts, because like as much as they were bad, they were still individuals. They had their own sentences. They didn't share consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you'd probably appreciate that for a moment, even though you know they're not justified in what they're doing. I think especially for someone like Steve, where you're mostly pacifistic, like you probably have this moment of like grieving the loss of that true pacifism. And like I think for Wally, you'd probably have that moment where you start to ponder whether you relate to your name, because the name given to you was all about this kind of lifestyle, this lifestyle of cutting down those who and protecting the innocent in your mind. But now you see a Hanukkah for how it is. I don't know if you're so certain that that is the truth, and I think you start to not necessarily disassociate, but like form your own concept of how it feels to lose on both sides of the battle. Yeah.
I think it would be very difficult for Walden to disassociate right now, if only because Walden can see that Seto is already like so much further down and worse than Walden is, and it's like there would be this like internal like temporary block of like, you know, there are other people who are like they can't stand on their own right now, so I have to help them, and it's kind of like that's kind of keeping Walden from properly like having this hit them as powerfully as the other people, and but it's definitely like on a timer. It's like this will happen, just maybe not right this moment.
No, fair. And I think you guys would probably roll insight for Lucrid and Bruta, because I think you'd all be in this silence for a while. I think, yeah, you would all notice then. For Gruta, it seems like this definitely isn't new. Like, the idea of losing on either side of the battlefield is... It looks like she's still got enough of her humanity left that she still has respect and reverence for death. But it's almost like, rather than disassociative like Seto, it's almost like it further grounds her will to continue because she's lost so much already. Whereas Lucrid seems way more hit by it. He seems to be, although a little stronger than Gruta, less experienced with this side. So you think maybe like a lot of Lucrid's talking has been like hamming up slightly his experience, he's capable, but maybe he's not been on the front line as much.
Okay.
Alright.
I think at this point it would probably draw into like, because you guys are heading back to kind of an area to interrogate Bolt, and I think it would probably be about 10 a.m. by the time you got there. And I don't know if you want to take a rest at any stage before you go back to Hanka, but you would have chance to after interrogating Bolt while he's still unconscious. And
I
as
would
you
definitely
draw,
want to wait to rest until after we take.
yeah, that's fair.
Seto kind of collapses in the makeshift thing because he was fucked up from the fight anyway,
Mhm.
and on top of that, so he just kind of like collapses in the sled that was made for that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm assuming that's being pulled, and we're not just gonna like leave it there. Oh,
Yeah,
honestly, we probably used it as part of the funeral pyre. Now that I'm thinking about it.
No, I think the sled stuff was like more like what was directly in front of you. The survival was to go and find stuff a bit further afield, so you could have both. So I wouldn't say one not for the other, because it is an abandoned kind of dried up oasis. There are a few like dead trees. But as you make it to the site of where Yen, Crick, and Crack are, Luke's suspicion was correct. They had indeed fled to some of the outskirts. And Walden was correct. It is one of the more ruined and abandoned settlements. And you see them, and they're ecstatic to see you. They look worried. They don't seem harmed in any way, but they're so happy to see you, until their eyes trail to the carts behind you, where their faces drop from glee to dismay. And all of them immediately kind of run up, mostly towards Seto, who they are all still fairly enamored with. And Luke kind of has this moment where he's run past by Crick. And although Yen does like acknowledge him and Crack does acknowledge him, Crick does not. And then like they kind of like pat him on the shoulder, but also follow Crick towards Seto. But Seto is like void of emotion almost right now, and like although you kind of see them coming, you don't feel that excitement that you're okay until they're pretty much right next to you.
It does that like that soft smile where you like touch their face kind of deal, and then just kind of like, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay, boys. One less thing to worry about.
Yeah, we got out from the earthquake pretty well, and like once we were out, we helped some of the people under the rubble on the outskirts. Although the place is a bit of a mess, we didn't think we should stick around.
And that's kind of like Crick. And then Yen kind of chimes in and says, "Well, I'm glad you're all okay. Can't say I'm surprised. You all seem very what happened to those two, and who is that lady in that man? And who's that lady? And who is that Bolt? Crick, isn't that your cousin?"
Oh yeah, that's he looks a bit sharp.
The
You
woman,
might say.
the woman and the man are people that we know. The woman's name is Martha. The man's name is the Cree. They were they were underneath the church.
I mean,
these.
the Kree's back at the funeral pyre.
Oh right.
So that was on me,
All right.
and I meant Bolt, but I said man, and I realized really we call them goblins.
Yeah.
But that was on me. My bad.
Okay.
Humanoid
So,
creature.
mhm. The woman's name is Martha. She was underneath the church in a sarcophagus. She was no, she was not in the sarcophagus. What am I thinking? Oh my god.
She was kidnapped.
She was kidnapped. Underneath the church, there was a ritual to create this portal to the outskirts outside of Hanka. On these outskirts, there was several of these bolts, and this woman, whose name is Martha, she's an archaeologist and has been studying the recent earthquakes that have been happening all across the world. We're not certain as to why Martha was their target, but this bolt is still alive, and we will be asking him when he wakes up.
Sorry. Martha, as in Grin's daughter?
You know of her?
Yes, she's renowned, but more importantly, she's part of the Alliance.
And like Lucrid and Gruta look at each other like in shock that they haven't put this together because they've not met Martha. And they instantly rush to her to try and find any notes. And they like explain as they're scrambling to work it out and how they've missed this. And they go, earthquakes. Did she talk about earthquakes? It's oh my god. And then like Gruta starts to like realize how frantic they look and tries to like calm Luke down. And they go, we need to see if she's brought her research. We were expecting her.
Okay. Martha's been unconscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But not like in a she's on the brink of life kind of way. She's like
No.
asleep in the same way that Jorg is asleep.
Correct.
If I remember correctly, I think I looked at some of her research that was back in the town. I assume it's not what they're looking for, but like I've seen some of it, I think.
You did?
Okay. I've seen some of it. What are you looking?
No, you a question. You did?
We went in her house, and then I searched for her inside the house and was looking at her devices and her paperwork.
Wow, that's an honor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was as a DM.
Oh no! I'm
Talking to me.
like sorry. I'm a woman of one voice.
This is why I do that excessive goblin voice, is because it's the only way that you know I'm not me.
Fine.
So,
Potatoes!
Potatoes.
like, at least there's no confusion. But so yeah, Lucrid says, yes, it's just that her research, we believe she's been tracking some events that might lead up to what's happening, and we were, to be honest with you, part of looking for this darn chair that we can't seem to have located yet, was that it would have had more information on things like seismic activity. As a chair, you sense a rumble, but you don't see. These are the things we needed. Overheard discussions, rumblings in the city, things that I can't track because they're hidden. And then Gruta goes over him and says, yes, and the thing about it, Martha's rather, well, I wouldn't say famous would be the right word, but she's a long member of the Alliance. There are a few of us who have been trying to work out a better way to have the treaty in place. But the treaty isn't well known. In fact, I think the last time I met you guys in Brunwell, I told you about the council summit.
It's one of the reasons we made it here so fast, and then everything got taken sideways.
Yes,
Honestly.
rather. And Gruta continues. Well, the thing is, the reason I couldn't really tell you before is, well, partly because you weren't in the Alliance, but I guess in a way you are now. There's a treaty between these places that has agreed, and I suppose we're safe out here, not to look into the Titan fossils. There's a reason they're an enforced taboo. And that council is designed to keep on track of if that taboo's been enforced as much as anything else. The people within it have become slightly corrupt in Hanka, and well, Martha's mother and Auntie Grin, as old adventurers, rather preferred to keep things within adventurers. It's hard to know what to do without experience,
Well-
but Hanka has been using scholars in the treaty for years, and well, I think we can all see how that's gone.
Well, we killed a bishop, like 4 cardinals, and like 3 priests. So
Yeah, I don't think the bishop of that particular church is probably running it, Gruta says. But that system is flawed because donations are what upholds the churches. And donations come from everyone, not just the people in the church. If you can buy in an elect official, then you can control a country. If it has to be done by adventurers by experience, like in Grinwall, then you know it's at least somebody with some form of moral. I believe there's a coastal town the same with a mayor called Winton. He is also somebody I believe that adventured a long time ago with Grin. And well, Martha and in a way, me and Lucred here were trying to follow in their footsteps, but that's the alliance.
pause. What was that dude's name?
Mayor Winton?
Mayor Winton. Yeah.
He
It
was
does sound
the-
familiar.
He was the mayor of where we started.
He's the mayor. Oh, that town. Mayor.
Yeah, but he was in the ship.
Right.
Give me 1 second and I will give you a hand.
Thank you. Or no, I just wrote Mayor Winton in the ship.
I believe he was the mayor of Lapshire.
Yeah.
I remember things.
Nice.
You did. I'm just trying to see if I can find the labeled map.
It's because you've been over there. You've heard these things and say like you were born into that kind of Lapshire topography, like names like that. I would have never remembered.
Got it.
So that's the Grinwall is the forest settlement, and Lapshire is the coastal settlement. And then, just as a reminder, Schroden is the continent, and Lamore is the one next to us.
Ooh.
So for perspective, as it might help in this moment, this is an old map, and Walden, you're distinct noticing that oasis system that's on the map is not as present as it used to be, and not how it is in the map. The
Oh,
Dying Lands
I see.
where that tunnel is, and Grinwall, is that forest settlement. Hope this helps.
It does.
So yeah, there's a major difference then that you would have noticed, Walden.
But
that's on
this
the
was like a
isn't
map that
anymore.
we got.
Something is missing.
Yeah.
Right, so so we got this map all together. This wasn't like a map that I had from the past.
No.
This was a map that was made relatively recently.
Yes,
You talking about the Schroden map?
Yes.
Okay.
and you
then-
believe it is inconsistent.
So the amount of water in and around Hanka is going away much faster than would be normal. Just because this map was created likely within a person's lifetime, and that's a lot of water to disappear in that time period.
You know what? I'm gonna say that you guys, because you're discussing Martha's notes and they're about seismic activity, I'm gonna say you get out the map and you guys start pointing and plotting with Luke and Gruta. Could you guys give me a history roll?
History roll.
Let me see the
I
history
am
roll.
kind of historic, but not so historic. Oh,
That's
Walden's the history major. Got school my
Standard.
ass.
It's not showing for me yet, but that's probably me.
It's for some reason it's not showing up on the
That's okay. I can
on the
go
thing,
to
but
the
it
campaign.
was an 18.
Oh, an 18. So it's okay. I can go to the campaign and I'll just remember to look there. Yeah. So on an 18, Steve, you're looking at it like, no, I mean, it could just have like been recorded wrong, right? Like nobody's got a plane or anything. What's a plane? And then Warden, you're like, this is inconsistent with your memory of how much water was in Hanka. So the layout of what you can see, that layout of that level of water, is more than the Oasis used to be when you were there.
So it was
And
more, and then
more.
suddenly became way less.
With an 18, I'm gonna say that you suspect that this is actually deliberate. Because you'd kind of piece together that if you're like pretty much 1,000 years in the past is inaccurate to this, and there's even less now, then this is unlikely to be a mistake that's not intentional.
Where we received this map from Grinwall?
You received this from Mayor Winton, I think.
Lapshire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
We want to look for a new map. See what Hanker thinks about this map. Or comparison map. Compare map. Anybody else got map? You got map? The Cree. Or any of you. You two perchance have a map?
Listen here, you ash pile. You got a map?
Because I assume if they're doing like, especially what the fuck, I can't remember any of these people.
It's okay.
You did
Fruta.
name two
If
characters
Fruit is
surprisingly
going all over the
similar.
place as a friggin' like envoy, she probably has a map as well.
So I think Lucrid would kind of chime in and say, well, part of why we're so interested in meeting Martha finally is her investigations help us track river systems too. And we were hoping that we might be able to make a more accurate layout. I don't know if it's possible, but if you guys are willing to look for the chair as an artifact, and I and Gruta, Yen, Crick, and Crack here can look after the interests and safety of Martha and Jorg, maybe we can align in the middle again and we will have produced a better map and we can start solving this with more information. But please, if you do find it, we need to know about any kind of earthquakes in the past, and I'll be frank, if the council has any lichers, because we suspect it very much does.
Okay.
I assume we've told them that the name of this person who's trying to be a lich is Brad.
Brad
Yeah, you
Langford.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Is Brad on this? Have they said whether or not Brad's on this council? Or trying to be?
They don't recognize that specific name.
Okay.
Very generic. There's 47 of them in the white pages.
They're all named Brad.
Brad Lanford.
Yeah.
Suburbia. Every one of them.
Okay, so the map stuff, it'll probably become relevant later, but I feel like it's not something we should get stuck on. You know, just because we don't have a lot of info in regards to it, so it's just like we try to solve it now, we're probably not going to be able to. So But there is the obvious thing of like the earthquakes are just opening up fissures, and that's where the water's going. That's just like, the most obvious answer. Um,
Whether or not
but
that's intentional, and if that
right,
water is directed, because I mean, technically, if we really wanted to, he could use various magics to redirect water underground to someplace more beneficial. You know what I mean? Like, there's reasons, like, there's things that can happen that we can't rule out immediately.
right. We just don't have enough information to
Yeah.
know, like, beyond that possibility, like of like what it could mean and why it's important. Um,
So
so
just piggybacking up off that, like, say somebody had the spell control water. You think they would be
Mhm.
able to know whether or not there's water in that area?
It might be a
Put the
little too
spell
deep
up.
underground. Like it has a range.
What has a range of 300 feet, and then it could
Fuck.
do like it could control any water within 100 feet of where it is cast. So like essentially within a half a mile in any direction.
Well,
It's a
unless
good
it's like
question.
100 feet underground.
No, so it'd be what I guess 300 feet underground up to 100 feet away from that.
You would be
So
able
400
to
feet
tell if there is water up to 300 degrees below you because like the spell would connect with something.
Gotcha.
There's feedback in that kind of regard. So there that would be possible. However, that might not be enough because like it depends on how far, because we saw like where the fucking sword was, how big that was. We didn't see a bottom. Like it could be farther. These fissures could lead to deeper than 300 feet.
Mhm. But my thought is like someone's like redirecting it or something, or it's not there. Like if I were trying to control water, would I feel it? Like would I be like something's going on, or is
It's
it
a good question.
I'd be just like there ain't no water here.
So if you were to cast it right now, would you sense any water in what was it, 40 feet?
300 feet.
300
300
feet,
feet.
and then from there it's 100 feet on a side. So really, it's 400.
And there's no sight rule to it.
I
Ba, ba,
don't think so.
ba.
I don't see
Just to
anything.
just to confirm.
Let me.
Inside the area you choose.
I don't even know if I just put that.
It doesn't
Did I put
say
that in
that
chat?
you can see. It just says you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on the side.
Okay. And 300 feet.
Oh, I didn't want to do
That's
it.
the total range. Yeah.
Make believe I didn't do it.
Okay.
I was just trying to link the thing.
No, that's cool. You go to cast the spell.
No,
No.
I wanted to know if that's like how that would work. Would you like allow that to be a thing? Because
Well,
it doesn't
okay.
technically say that like I can tell whether or not there's water.
Well, in a way, you would know if your magic was affecting something, right? And you don't have to see it. So I would actually rule that you could sense water and the direction. It's also a fourth level spell, so it's not actually that overpowered
Mhm.
to say that you could sense it.
So I feel like I would want to do that, but I don't know if like where we are right now is even in that area.
Right.
Like where I don't know, where are we on that map? Are we close to where that oasis was? Like how far did we just walk?
So from the dried up riverbed, you walked about an hour closer to Hanker on the outskirts where there are ruins. I would say you were focused mostly on the ring, but I would say that Walden or Seto could have been like noticing if there were more dried up riverbeds, which you would have seen. Where you are right now, I think you probably would see areas that could have been, but you don't see water and you haven't seen water for the whole hour you've walked.
but we know where we started. At some point, there was water. Likely.
In the
Right.
past, yes.
I don't know if it makes sense to do this right here.
I think it's a good thought to have for a better scenario. Like this is a good plan to have in like the back chamber.
Okay. So I'm gonna hold for now. But maybe on the way back to Hanker, if I find a section, I will do that.
Okay. I would say that Luke and Gruta, you said the full name of Brad, and they've been kind of thinking about it, and they kind of, you guys are like discussing and trying to work this out, like what's the best way to work out what's happening while Martha's not conscious. And they say to you, do you know the spelling of the name? Like, is there, it's very generic, yes, but people are often
I know we've seen it
arrogant.
before.
I mean, I know we've seen it. I don't remember off the top of my head.
As a player, no. As a
Me
as a
neither.
player, no. As a Steve, yeah. Well, his name is BRAD, according to the photo that you have sent us.
Those could be initials. It could be like Boswick, Randall, Archimedes, Demetrion.
I know we saw it
Very
in
long name.
Auntie's Grin's notebook, and as well, I think Jackie. I think his logbook also had it because he was trying to get down to the archives it multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
Jackie.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we've seen it. I know that.
okay, in that case, Lucrid hands you a parchment and a pen and says, do you think it's possible that someone arrogant enough to become a lich would leave more of a calling card than just a plain pseudonym?
It's very possible.
I don't know where we're getting with this because I'm stupid. My
Uh,
brain hurts.
Okay, so it would be a what the fuck is the term?
Like an acronym.
You rearrange the letters into a new word.
An across? No, not an acrostic.
I can't fucking
Maybe
remember
maybe
the
it's
term.
Drab.
Well,
Rad B.
what if it's B for Bolt, R for somebody else?
No, I don't think it's an acronym because that's way too long.
Well, is it possible that there's a clue within that system? Like, there must... People arrogant enough to chase lichdom are rarely the type to not leave a mark behind.
I gotta open Notepad and type out Brad. Langford.
No, I think it is like one of those things where you rearrange the letters and it makes a new word. I think that's definitely what it is. Just can't remember what that's called.
Anagram.
Yes,
Yes.
anagram. One sec.
Maybe there's parts of it that don't fit in, and that's the lead.
Rab. Brad. Darb. Bard.
Did they ever leave a title?
Ooh.
Did they?
Not that I know.
All it says, all I have on it is Brad Langford, last person in secret library vault. Not in ruins, but Bolt is. Archdruid dude sage said I read stuff, so I know stuff. I have exquisite
NKFORD?
notes.
Exquisite.
Yeah, LANGFORD.
Oh, Langford, not Langford.
Yeah, Langford.
I have put it in the chat thing just to confirm the spelling. But as you guys are all trying to
What
kind
if
of
it's
figure it-
Fang Lord?
imagine.
Oh my god! Is it a vampire? The Fang Lord? Is it the drab Fang Lord? He just needs to get some drip and like get him out of his.
There's a reason she puts spaces, bro. Radlang for D.
You can make Badland out of the name with a couple letters left over.
What letters left over?
RGFOR.
Forge. No.
Wait,
No, Forge doesn't have, it has an E and it's not.
Yeah, that's what I realized way too
But-
like a second late.
but maybe. What letters were left?
RGFOR.
FOR.
For
Raw.
Badland.
Radland
Radland.
for Giants. I don't know.
But what if that's the hint?
Badlandfer.
Badland for RG.
What if we've been calling this person Brad, assuming that the calling card was the name, which is logical, and maybe that's why they got declined from the library, but the letters left over.
What are the letters left over?
RG.
FOR
RG. So
RGFOR.
for Badland.
But the Dying Lands, the Badlands, there's always been a revolt against the treaty. They weren't part of the treaty. There's a fossil in the Badlands.
Real giant.
Doesn't one of the Titans. And Lucre continues. It's not within the treaty. We don't have access to it.
Burger.
Okay, so I guess we have to keep an eye out for people called RG, like with like the initials RG.
I think maybe that's the lead.
God.
It doesn't fit anybody we've met so far, so that's something.
What's the
Um,
king's name here?
The king? Well, there's a council of scholars, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure we have their names. That's part of why we're trying to talk to a chair. There's a lot we're not privy to. We're hoping a chair will be more honest.
Reginald Greckenfield.
You know, we're desperate enough to talk to a wooden chair.
I hate that I have so many friggin' tabs.
Alright.
No. What are the names of the giants that we've seen so far? Because I can't just get to my fucking notes. God
Oh.
dang.
Didn't need to do that.
You got that, Seto?
What did I get?
All the names of the giants that we've seen so far.
You were investigating some of the sites.
Oh yeah, we got
Yeah, they don't know that yet.
yeah, we
Okay.
got the Old God King. We got Grusith, Prince of Knowledge. We got Bolster, a equal boulder wedding when Wally touched the wing. Balsa Hill Giant, sword Fey test. Gruseth's brother, Gruseth married an Eldritch Giant. Yurth the Brutal on sword. Lich Ring said Helga. Faint Aura. Energy leaking from skull. Book of Seed. Book of Magic and Phylactery.
Yeah, I don't think we have the final piece of this.
Did I fuck something by not taking a note? Because that sounds like me.
No, I just don't think we've encountered this name yet. Like I don't think we have that final piece
Probably
in a
not.
perfect
I
scenario.
can't even see one. I'm never doing this on one screen.
Hmm.
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Well, I think we have a better lead at least. We have something that we can definitely ask and potentially get an answer for, which is who RG could be. And will have 5 questions. Well, you'll have 5 questions. I think it's best that we interrogate this goblin too.
Right. Okay, let's
Man.
so we've tied up bolts. Let's wake him up.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Wally do this one.
Yeah, I'll
He's already scared of Wally.
I'll just kind of like shake his head to wake him up.
Yeah, you kind of like slap him about a bit. And he kind of comes to and he's like, Harry! You fucking cunt! He doesn't seem pleased.
See, that's a bit rude. I need you to work with me here, okay? Because you're at a pretty severe disadvantage. So why don't you try that again?
You skewered me to my similarities.
Yeah, we
I don't like you.
I don't like you either.
Just gonna kill me anyway, or why should I say anything?
I don't
He's kind of
have to
hounded,
kill you.
I'll be real.
Well, you skewered my similarities. What you're not kind.
Have similarities, bro. How about that? Why don't you even have similarities?
Seto kind of stands up and puts his hand on Wally's shoulder as he kind of like appears out of nowhere from behind. That's like giant mechanical menace, and is very like that super calm. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not a stupid little goblin. You know how this ends regardless. I'm not going to lie to you and say you're gonna make it out of this. But what I will tell you is how long it will take you to die. You can make it easy on yourself, or they can give you to me. And like, that's just it.
Roll intimidation.
Oh, I thought I was proficient in that. I should have looked. I would have done something way less. I would have said something way less cool because I'm not proficient in being intimidating. Like, fuck. Oh, well. It's still got like, hey, that's respectable.
That is respectable.
That's respectable.
And the goblin kind of looks at the last time this goblin saw you, there was like clear life running through your veins, right?
Mhm.
And it looks at you now and almost sees like a kinship in your void and a terror of what people this like conscious and intelligent can do when they've got that void. And he responds and goes,
Oh, are you the new boss?
What?
Boss changes faces a lot.
Doesn't
Let's
respond.
talk.
Doesn't respond. Yeah, he just stands there.
Yeah. Let's talk about your boss. Because here's the thing. I don't think that you have a happy relationship with your boss.
Do you?
Am I wrong?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say it's been the easiest. He pumped me full of black ooze and cloned me several times.
Doesn't seem like the kind of behavior that somebody should show others. Yeah.
his eyes dart to Steve, and he says,
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of people that do a lot worse.
What did I do? I didn't do nothing.
Oh,
So I,
it's not personal. It's just like you're a druid, innit? So we get murdered by you a lot.
what the fuck?
What? Okay, out of character. I am a little confused about that.
Oh,
What did I do? What?
not you specifically, Grinwall has a blight problem with the Badlands, and they won't let any of the goblins in and kill them when they try.
We
That
know
was like a
this
whole
already.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like
the
a whole thing.
guy that was in / around the well. Was he a goblin?
Wow.
No, no. I'm asking the DM.
Oh.
This is not a
Oh,
goblin.
as in the sludge monsters? You think?
No. When Seto went down and got the ring and whatnot at the bottom of the well outside of Grinwall, before we got there,
the sludge
that was a
monsters.
goblin, correct?
That was sludge monsters.
Sludge monster. We let something go back into the Badlands after curing it.
Oh, there was.
Yeah,
okay,
there
so
was
there
a
were-
goblin. That's right.
That was
there
a goblin,
was,
correct?
yeah. There was. Okay, so there was two parts of that. Okay, sweet. There was a goblin. It's not this goblin.
All goblins look
That-
the same
So-
to me.
So I can, without any like lying or twisting or anything, like look him straight in the eyes and go, "That is not me. I have done nothing but help your kind."
They look at Crick and Crack, who, as previously mentioned, are second cousin, and they go, "Is that true?" And Crick and Crack go,
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, they've been pretty good to us, especially the one that looks a bit unwell right now. They're actually quite great. The druid's also quite pacifistic, to be honest. Like, they're pretty chill.
and Crick goes,
Well, I don't know. I've had a bad run with you, talkers. I mean,
Let's take a step back and focus on what you have done.
me?
Talking about the wrongs that we've done each other. You have kidnapped and murdered several people. People that we know, people that we like. So,
I quite like my clones, to be honest. They were pretty chill. You skewered
Right.
them to me. Or me to them, depending on how you see it.
and I fully accept that. Maybe there was an outcome where we could have solved that without killing them. Maybe
Oh,
not.
now we were gonna skin you alive if we could have. I'll be real.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is the kind of behavior that I'm talking about. Where you are so determined to twist us into horrible people that you're letting yourself do worse things in return.
Well, look, listen. I'm full of black sludge. My life ain't gonna go well for me no matter what. I've gotten to a point here where if I got to eat a face, I'm gonna eat a face. I understand morally, especially with some of my removed family members, that's not something they're about. But
You don't
Have you-
have to accept that. You don't have to accept that life. We're not after you. We don't care about you. You're not the person that we're trying to take care of. We're trying to take care of your boss, and your boss is the one that put the black sludge in you. Your boss is the one who has done horrific things to you. Your boss is the one who put you in this situation where you have to do horrific things in return. He has done these bad things, and he will do even more, and you don't have to accept that.
I would quite like to go back to a time where I just ate bird legs, to be fair. I do miss that.
And you see like black tears coming out his eyes.
I'm gonna like come up beside Wally and go. I will reiterate, and I'll look at him as well as his cousins and go. Some of us do care about you.
Well, I don't I don't think I'll get to see the end of the boss's plan anyway, but would you make a different plan?
Yes.
A plan I don't dislike ripping off skin, but I would prefer it was skin that didn't talk, you know?
Can understand that.
Like the blight and shit, like that's not our fault. We didn't make that. We're just not very good at stopping it.
Is your
I'm
boss
just gonna
trying to
say that
stop
I
you?
know. I know that that's not you.
He is actually. He's not quite one of us, but he's similar. He's kind of like all of us, but like not the ones in meat anymore.
Is your boss trying to stop the blight?
The resurrection, yeah.
What exactly do you mean by resurrection?
He's trying to resurrect Grusus.
And what does he think will happen if he succeeds?
Oh, well, to be fair, he's pretty upset about, well, it's because he's kind of made out of all of our upset. But like, he's pretty upset about like all the stuff. So I think he's probably just trying to kill people. But we needed something strong, you know, to take away the blight.
Out of character, I will ask that in a second. Just, I have another question to ask first.
Mhm.
Did your boss ever go by a name RG?
No, that's the plan.
Resurrect Grusev.
Yeah, for the Badland.
Oh. That makes more sense.
That does make more sense.
So we were in the church and we were looking for this chair to try to give us more insight on what exactly is going on. It was not there. There were a couple other things stolen from the church. Do you know what those things were?
Oh, the chair got moved.
Do you know where it is now?
This is the thing. I don't get all the info, but anything they moved would have gone near the junkyards. Probably, if they didn't want it. Anything precious would have just been somewhere else in the church, but anything just old and scrappy gone to the junkyards to be recycled.
Okay. Do you know where your boss is right now?
Wow. I guess because I failed again, probably on his way, actually. I mean, I thought that was him,
And he looks at Sato.
but actually, I don't think that is him. He's just got a similar vibe.
Is he going to hurt you?
Oh, well, I should imagine he'll take the black sludge out of me, and then I'll become one with the rest of the singing voices. And then, yeah, I suppose it would kill me.
Singing voices?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, lots of them singing together.
Sounds like there's other things in that sludge.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think you have been a victim of this man. And I don't want you to die because of that role. Is there a way that we could get the sludge out of you ourselves?
I don't think I'd exist without the sludge.
I mean, I could try.
You can.
I
try.
definitely turn and shoot a look at you. That's like, shut the fuck up.
I shoot a look at fucking what's his face? Lucred. Like, you think we could actually do that?
He kind of like whispers it to you, Steve, and he says, I don't know much about necromancy, but it sounds like the sludge might be his soul.
The
I'm
question ultimately is if there's anything left of bolts, beyond the sludge.
That would be
Is
the
this
question.
even the original bolt? We're just
Oh,
talking
me?
to a
We're all
similarity.
with similarities. We share.
I'm wondering if we can. This is out of character. I'm wondering if there's. I'm trying to think. There's I'm looking up, trying to find a specific spell that I think Luke would probably have as a paladin. No, he's a cleric, but either way.
I do have a character sheet for him, so I can tell you.
Where is it? Greater Restoration. It might be too high a level.
Yeah, that's like a 5th level spell.
No, I'm not on 5th level for Luke.
I think. Let me. Lesser is 3, right?
Yeah, I'm only on 3rd level.
But greater undoes a curse, which is the main thing I was thinking about.
Fuck.
So I think there's Bestow Curse, Zone of Truth, Lesser Restoration. I think
Well,
that's the only ones that would be.
Let's see what Lesser Restoration is able to do. Disease or condition afflicting it, but it's a very specific list of conditions.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work. If we had access to greater, we could potentially do it, but it may not work now. I don't want to sign Bolt's death warrant here. I don't want to leave him to die. But I feel like
So still under the impression that he's about to kill Bolt. Like he said in the beginning, like it's either like you help us and this goes quickly, or he doesn't and it doesn't. He meant what he said as far as.
No, I totally get that. Here's my. I'll ask this one last question to Bolt real quick.
He's saying he's already dead.
Oh yeah, I got abandoned once, innit? Got left dry, and I got sludged.
So you got sludged after you died?
Oh yeah.
There may not be anything left.
So, you are undead?
I suppose you could say that, yeah.
Would your boss is your boss able to track you?
Yeah, because the sludge is part of him.
Man.
I don't want you to have to continue to work for him. I would rather you not die in the process, but I'm not certain if there is another option for you.
Bolt,
Okay.
has he ever forced you, literally, to the point that your body worked against your will? Does he have that
Yes.
capability?
I suppose that is the sludge in a way.
And Seto just kind of looks up at Wally, and then over at Steve. Like, that was all that needed to be said.
Well, so unless we remove the sludge. But I think regardless of whether, as soon as that sludge is removed from him, this motherfucker's dead.
Yeah. Fuck. God damn.
To be fair, like, I'm not sure if he'll come because the sludge is him. Maybe I'll go to him.
Maybe if we keep the sludge in something, it can act as a compass towards whoever.
Yeah, I was
he
thinking
is.
that too. Maybe if the sludge doesn't go back, that would be helpful.
I mean,
It's
What
not
if
a
he
bad idea.
smells nice?
Are you able to control the sludge at all?
Nah.
Alright. Well,
I'm going to walk between these two and kind of in a low voice. I'll say to Steve first. Contain as much of the sludge as you can for tracking and to make sure it doesn't go back to hit Brad. And then I'll turn to Seto and I'll be like, please make it painless.
literally, as he says that, an echo, like, surprise round sneak attack from behind to Bolt. Mostly so that it's while Wally's looking at Seto. You can see in his eyes it's the smallest mercy he could give you in this situation, is that he can make it happen while you're looking at him and not looking at Bolt. That makes sense?
Right.
Oh shit, I might miss. I mean, I haven't.
No, that.
Oh.
He's tied up and doesn't
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like-
I don't know.
I was like, I don't know how much I have to roll, but
yeah, this
that's
is too much
automatically a
killing
crit.
bitches. I fucking hate this.
This is an awful scenario.
Yeah, this isn't great, but it is what it is. Like, am I allowed to coup de grace, or do I need to stab him to death repeatedly?
No.
I'm like, I need to know what I'm doing here.
He never got healed and he only had like 2 hit points. So like
Alright.
I'm not gonna say that the goblin takes more than the action to hit. But I will say as you do that, do you hear through your echo?
No, I don't.
No. Okay.
That's
Then I think really only Steve would hear this, because only Steve is close enough, and Luke could maybe. But you hear as like the rapier stabs through Bolt in the kindest, brain stemmiest way, to cut any kind of feeling. Just before he gets stabbed, he says, "One of you sure does smell nice." And falls to the
second
floor.
time he said that.
I
I caught the
And
first
black.
one, but
Black ooze comes out of his body.
I empty a bag. What I gotta. Not my bag of holding.
I'm pretty sure there was a bag of coal that wasn't the bag of coal. Does that
Oh
make
shit,
sense?
that's right. Yeah, I have the inferior.
we'll allow that.
coal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think
put the
we should
sludge
all
in that.
also have water skins too.
Yeah.
And-
There's quite a lot of sludge. I'm gonna put it out there. It would fill because it is like a goblin-sized amount of sludge.
Yeah, no, I that's cool.
All that's left
Yeah.
of Bolt is literally skin and a couple of like clothes. There are no
I don't-
bones.
I don't think we're gonna get all the sludge, but that might be for the best, so that Brad doesn't like fully realize that we've taken some.
In that case, I'm gonna say that you take enough sludge that it seems to keep its form-ish, like kind of like blue tack. Like when there's only a tiny bit of it and it gets hot, it like goes too stringy. But you've got like enough that it holds its form. In the coal bag.
Enough that it can pull the coal bag like a Viva card.
Yeah, I figured that was yeah. I read enough One Piece to know what you were going for at the very least. like, yeah,
What, you
I
read
say
One
you get
Piece?
that
That's
kind of
so
amount.
cool.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, and you kind of stuff it in there as you guys are left to kind of linger on his last words. And we're gonna end that session here. As it is.
Oh
on
my
the
gosh.
That was emotional. You were trying so hard, Zozie.
We did think about pretty much every option.
You threw on that Captain Save-A-Bolt like cape, and you were trying your hardest. I respect it. That is, what am I missing?
Oh man.
That was
Yeah.
bananas.
So that's that. So yeah, I'm just gonna say to you guys, I know you guys have a little chatty thing. So if you talk about what questions given today's session, and
Oh, I think we're gonna do that when we like do it like a
Yeah,
nice
that's
surprise
fine.
thing for someone, not like we don't actually talk in it actively.
oh, okay, that's fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that was just like for nice surprises for people,
It's like no, that's just for wholesome things. Fair enough.
right?
Fair enough. Yeah, because we will be progressing forward a little bit more. Just to run down earthquakes. Worked out Brad Langford is about resurrecting Grusa. And he is an entity working for the Badlands and the Dying Areas. And there is a lot less water than there should be, according to both the map and memory. So just to run down those points.
Cool.
And that's the game today.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's the way the bones hill. Are we still streaming?
Yep. Yeah, you got all that. I wasn't gonna let him not. So on that note, life happens in every direction, and especially that joke. That joke was a direction. I won't have fun with everybody. This was